Alright, so in this video, I'm actually going to show you how you can use action thresholds to actually create ads that scale. For every action in life, whether that be a purchase, whether that literally be even you clicking onto this video, you have action thresholds, right? And if those thresholds are met, people are going to take the action. You are going to actually take the action. And a purchase is the action that we actually want our customers to take. If you can sort of embed this into how you write ads, how you make funnels, how you basically sell your product, it makes it 10 times easier because it turns it into more of a math and more of a science rather than just you relying on intuition. Like, okay, I hope this will sell, or I think this will sell, I think this won't sell. Like, it's very, very confusing when you're just thinking from an intuition perspective, right? And that just comes with a lot of experience. If you have like 5-10 years of marketing experience, maybe that can work. But if you don't, then you have to rely on something I call action thresholds. And this is honestly something that's a little bit mind-blowing, so honestly, strap on your seatbelt because this video is going to be a really good one. It might blow your mind, but I honestly hope it does because this is so helpful. The first time I understood this, it made selling so much more simple, and I promise you it's going to make selling more simple for you as well. If you're new to the channel, my name's Ganor. I make scaling to 8 figures easy for health and wellness e-commerce brands, and this will literally just help any brand that's actually trying to sell a product because action thresholds are something that is just deeply embedded into our psychology. Like, you even clicking onto this video, maybe the action threshold wasn't that high because it doesn't cost you anything, it's free, it's literally like doing that and you're onto the video, right? So the threshold wasn't too high, but still, you hit the action threshold, that's why you took the action. And I'll explain how you can actually use these to sell in just a second. There's 3 main ones that you actually need to know. There is pain, there is trust, and there is belief, okay? So I'm going to explain exactly how you can use it. Let's get into the video. So the big idea over here is that most brands guess why people buy, okay? I personally prefer just mapping out the exact threshold someone needs to actually cross before they actually take an action, because once you understand the thresholds, you can actually stop guessing and you can actually start diagnosing a little bit more deeper on what you're missing if an ad wasn't working or why an ad did actually work as well, okay? So selling becomes a science when you actually stop asking, will this ad work? And you start asking, what action threshold is this ad actually trying to cross? And that is when creative strategy becomes way more predictable. Like I said at the start of the video, if you have like 5 to 10 years of marketing experience, maybe you don't need this because you just have that intuition and maybe you can make it work anyway. But if you don't have that, then you definitely need this, because this, if you embed this into your ad writing process, into your marketing process, it becomes so much more simple. So this is something I actually learned from my mentor. One of the biggest things my mentor actually taught me was people do not just randomly take an action. They only take an action when a stimulus in front of them is strong enough to cross a certain threshold, right? Once I started thinking like this, selling became less about intuition and more about science, okay? Instead of just saying, I think this will sell, I actually started saying, okay, this ad increases the value threshold, this page increases certainty, this sort of element or this section on the landing page actually increases trust. And that is a completely different way to think. It turns selling into something a little bit more methodical rather than just guessing, right? Like intuition. So the 3 buying thresholds is the value threshold, the certainty threshold, and the trust threshold. So the first thing is, obviously, do they want this badly enough to pay the cost? That is essentially the value. Do they believe this will actually work for them? And do they trust you enough to actually buy right now? If any of these are too low or they don't actually hit the threshold, they leave, they compare, and they procrastinate, and they basically buy from someone else. So you have to sort of visualize this as literally like these, I don't know what you'd even call it, but let's just say these little thresholds, you could say. Someone's value threshold might be up here. Like they need this to at least fill up to this point, and they're like, okay, cool, this is worth it, this is worth it. Their trust threshold might not be that high. Maybe they're in so much pain that they don't really care that, like this, whether they trust the person selling or not. They care a little bit, but not as much. So it only needs to really fill up to here, right? And I like to think of this as like out of 10. So this could be like a 7 out of 10. You need to get them into a 7 out of 10 value threshold to actually get them to take action. This might be a 5 out of 10, right? And their belief in, does it actually work, right? It might be a little bit more because they've tried a lot of shit and it's basically not worked for them. So they are very skeptical, and this might need to be an 8, right? This might be an 8 out of 10. You have to visualize this a little bit in your head, and this is usually what I do when I just map out stuff before an ad as well, because it's super helpful to do this, and then it obviously just turns selling into a science rather than just turning selling into intuition. So threshold number 1 over here is value, right? The value threshold is essentially, do I want this badly enough? But the cost is not just the money. The cost is, the time, the effort that it takes, the risk that they actually have to take, right? The sacrifice, do they have to sacrifice like a routine? Like, for example, if you told someone that they would have to use your product and not sleep at night for one night, that's a pretty big effort and sacrifice, right? That's a pretty big sacrifice. So obviously maybe your product doesn't do that, but do they have to replace something? You know, do they have to take some routine out of their life? Do they have to set aside some time every day to actually use your product? You know, how long does it take? How easy it is to actually use? What is the inconvenience? What is the behavior change? Are they waiting for shipping? Like, that is one of the most annoying things, okay? Like, I literally posted a tweet yesterday, and that was literally that 50% of scaling your brand is just making your shipping faster, because when you do that, the customer experience is just through the roof, and people really do like it, okay? And I was referencing to Amazon when doing that, because I ordered a book yesterday and today it's coming, and it's just fucking amazing customer service, right? And it's honestly such a huge thing when it comes to the value threshold, because someone would rather buy from another brand that provides a similar outcome if they can just get it to them quicker, right? And the shipping time is something in ecom that is one of the most annoying things for customers. Now, trying something new, they also have to try something new sometimes, right? Which can be a little bit annoying. And the customer is not just asking over here, is this worth the money? They're actually asking everything I have to do, risk, change, or give up, all right? The back pain example over here is something I really like using. So someone with mild back pain might hesitate to actually spend $200, but someone who can't sleep because of their back pain, it's like a completely different story, right? You can have the same product, and if someone is just in so much pain that they actually hit the value threshold there, then they're actually going to buy, because it's just easier to justify, right? So how you can visualize this is essentially having this sort of threshold over here, and this can be the value threshold, okay? Let's say they need to be around here, which is like an 8 out of 10 to actually go ahead and buy. If someone doesn't really face that much pain, like let's do a comparison over here of someone, they both need 8 out of 10 pain to actually buy, and this person over here is the guy who just has mild back pain, okay? It's just like, it's only up to here. It's like, it's okay. It annoys them a little bit. It's not the biggest thing. But someone who can't sleep because of their back pain, I'm telling you, like, the first night is going to be like this. The second night, they're hitting that threshold because it gets really annoying, and us humans can't even function without sleep, right? So the higher the pain, or the more they want the dream outcome, the easier it is to actually sell them as well. So how can you actually increase the value, right? Because sometimes you can't just rely on people to be in a very painful situation to actually sell them. Sometimes you have to actually show them the pain, make them feel the pain. And honestly, it might be a little bit, some people might think this is a little bit unethical, like actually making people feel pain. But I think if you can genuinely change someone's life, I think if you can genuinely help someone achieve a dream outcome they have, and you can make them realize the pain of staying where they currently are, that is the best thing you can do for them, because you're going to actually end up helping them in the long term anyway. But how do you actually increase value? You basically show them the pain of staying the same, right? This is literally what a lot of ads do. Like, a lot of ads do this, and it's honestly amazing when they actually show the outcomes of them not actually improving their current situation, the emotional cost of the problem as well, the dream outcome, like literally showing someone the dream outcome. Like right now, you might be making, let's say, anywhere from $0 to $900,000 a month, right? Somewhere there. And you're not at $1 million a month right now. If I just kept talking about how good it is, like being at $1 million a month in front of you, that would cause you a little bit of pain. You'll be annoyed that you're not there yet, you know, that you can't relate and all that stuff, if that is actually your goal. If that's not a goal, then it wouldn't really cause that much pain. Or if you have too many limiting beliefs around it as well. The daily life impact as well, like literally just showing them their problem, exploring their problem, actually creates a lot of pain, which allows them to really fill up this sort of threshold and actually hit the threshold there. And the before and after contrast, and when you can actually show someone that their life can improve and how much it would improve by, that creates a lot of pain as well, and it creates desire. This threshold over here isn't just pain, it's also pain and desire. Like, how badly do they want it? Someone cannot be in so much pain right now, but just because they want what they don't have so bad, that creates a lot of pain as well. It's like FOMO and all that stuff, right? And that is why all of these like drop shippers who sell like these shitty little products that just is basically just FOMO, sometimes they get a lot of sales as well, because people just have so much FOMO of not actually having that product, and the cost is so low, it's like $10, $20 that they just pay, right? And then why solving this now actually matters. The question, have we actually made this problem feel expensive enough to ignore? Okay. So we have to actually make the problem seem so big in their life, and usually it is, okay? And I strongly recommend one of the best moves you can actually do as like a marketer for an ecom brand, and you as a business owner, you are basically a marketer, because if you don't have an agency or if you don't have any team members, you're basically the one selling. One of the best things you can do is just find sub avatars, which you can watch one of my other videos in this. I can link in the description if you want. But you find sub avatars that have a lot of pain, right? That are in so much pain that they're just willing to actually go ahead and try stuff. Because the more pain you're in, the more action you're actually going to take. And this relates to everything in life, literally everything in life. If you're not in pain, you're not going to take action. Think of the last time you got a little bit proud, you got a little bit comfortable, you know, you just weren't in enough pain to actually like take action to grow your business. That's just an example. So threshold number 2 over here is certainty. This is basically, do I believe this will actually work, right? Wanting the result is simply not enough. Someone can want to lose weight so bad, but if you can't do a good job of actually explaining why your solution works, explaining that, okay, this will actually work, this logically makes sense, right? Then they will not actually buy. So basically, someone can desperately want clear skin, better sleep, less bloating, more energy, more confidence, but if they don't believe your product can actually get them there, they will not buy. So desire is not the same as belief. A customer can want skin badly, like clear skin badly, but if they have tried 10 products and nothing worked, and you know, you're just selling the same product as them, then they're probably not going to buy, because they just don't believe it'll actually work for them, right? They're not just buying a skincare product, they're buying against their past disappointment. And this is super important when it actually comes to sophisticated markets. Like in a sophisticated market, someone's pain might literally look like this. Like a lot of these weight loss markets and everything, if this is belief, if this is pain and value, you could say, and this is the trust in the company, which I'm actually going to go ahead and explain to you a little bit later, someone's pain might be like up here. Like it might be just through the roof, but if they've just tried so much shit and it just has not worked, and you cannot actually convince them that why something in the past didn't work and why your solution is different, then they just won't buy, because they just don't trust you. So some markets actually have a very high belief threshold. They need to actually see why it works. It's like stage 3, 4, and 5 sophistication markets. They need to actually understand how it works before they get it. If you're like the first to the market, like for example, yeah, the example I love using is Elon Musk. Like he's building a way to get to Mars right now. When he actually is successfully doing that, and he successfully does that, he's in a stage 1 market. There is no competition. There is basically no one else doing it. And he can literally just go up to people who want to go to Mars and say, hey, want to go to Mars? And they're like, yeah. And they don't care how the hell they're going to get there. They're just going to pay for the ticket and go. That'll change when other competitors come in the market, when there's other people taking you to Mars, right? And this probably sounds like a lot of science fiction, but I hope this is making sense. When there's other people in the market that are also taking you to Mars, he will have to either make his service quicker, he will have to either make the experience better, or just, yeah, essentially make it quicker, bigger, or better. He has to make a bigger, better claim, right? So then, obviously, when a lot of people are in the market and everyone's just screaming shit, making bigger claims, people don't believe that anymore, you need to have a new, like, unique mechanism, right? And now I'm just getting into stages of sophistication, which the video is not about, but I really hope that makes sense for you. So desire is not the same as belief, like I just said. How to increase certainty? How do you actually increase the certainty? So proof is something that's huge, although obviously a lot of people don't believe testimonials anymore. Logic is a big one. If you can actually explain a unique way that their problem, unique mechanism of the problem, like a unique way their problem actually works, and then that directly contributes to your unique mechanism of your solution, how you actually deliver the result, that is very, very helpful. Demonstrations, again, very simple. Before and afters, super simple. Just showing them more proof, increasing their certainty that it's actually working. Mechanism explanations, one of the biggest ones, to be honest. Customer results, expert credibility, credible sources, showing why this works differently, showing why it works for people like them. You know, like if you want to actually go and see a brand that's doing a really good job of this, just go to Norse Organics. You have to also try to see where you can actually use expert credibility. I've seen this so much recently, but it's like this Korean beauty expert. Korean people, at least from the perception of the beauty market, are people who know a lot about their skincare. They have amazing skin, so they're actually more likely to believe it. Someone in a story ad that has maybe turned 70 but they look like they're 40, they're going to have a lot of authority, right? If someone in your ad is like saying, I just turned 70, and you can see that, okay, she looks like she's 25 or something, you know? That's a lot of authority. So you can actually increase the believability that way. They do not just say this clears your skin. They build the belief that it can actually happen. That's essentially what we're trying to do here. And now threshold number 3 is trust in you. So this is basically, do I trust this brand enough to actually buy right now? This is not the same as certainty, because certainty is basically, I believe the product can work, but do I actually believe this company is actually safe to buy from? If the trust is super low, then sometimes they won't even actually believe your claim. So you have to actually get this right as well. I believe this company is safe to buy from, right? But a customer can believe a product idea, but they still don't trust the brand. So why trust matters even more for new brands. If someone buys from Amazon, the trust is already built, right? And that's why some people will literally only buy from Amazon and nowhere else. If someone buys from a massive household name brand, the trust is already built in. But if they land on your site and then they've literally never heard of you before, you need to build the trust fast. And this is why a lot of brands are literally paying to give their competitors customers, because they do all the selling, they do everything. They basically just take the person to the point where they're like, okay, I need this thing. I actually need this thing. And then they just go onto Amazon and they buy it from them because they just trust them more. So you have to build that trust as well, okay? They're basically thinking, is this legit? Are the reviews actually real? Will this actually ship, and can I actually return it? Are there real humans behind this? That's why a founder story sometimes is one of the best things you can do. If you want to look for good examples of founder stories, you can just go check out Primal Queen. They are absolutely amazing at it. For both their brands, if you go to Primal Queen or you go to Underdog Hemp, both founder stories, amazing, and they're run by the same people as well. Why should I trust this brand over another one? Okay, how to actually increase trust. You can do reviews, UGC, founder story, one of the best. It's literally one of the best things, okay? Social proof, certifications, guarantees, clearer return policies, clear shipping info, strong branding, customer photos and faces, familiar faces. If you can obviously leverage someone they already know in the industry who can actually come in and actually just, I guess, promote your product, right? Or just stand by your product. That is really, really good. Don't just take pictures of Joe Rogan or something and put it on your website. A lot of people do that. And Dr. Huberman, I think it's something like that. They put him on as well. Don't fake it, right? Actually make it real. And other people vouching for you, essentially. The goal is to make buying actually feel safe. So essentially, when you actually look at your funnel right now, you can actually start to do this little diagnosis. Basically, you can see, okay, if an ad's not working or if a landing page isn't working, what are we not really hitting? Like, what is the threshold that's missing right now? Is the value not really there? Like, do these people not want it badly enough? Do they want it, but they just don't believe that it'll actually work? Or is it like a trust problem? Do they believe it could work, but not trust us enough when buying? You can actually call your customers and you can basically do your market research. I've got like an entire SOP in like my last video or something. You can go find it. And basically, when you call your customers, the good thing about that is that you can sometimes even tell you, like, yeah, I almost didn't buy because I just didn't really trust the brand, but I just really wanted this, so I just bought it, right? And that can actually tell you that, okay, then there's definitely some people who are not buying because they just don't trust the brand enough, right? And you can actually put these elements in front of them to actually make them trust the brand, all right? How to actually apply this. So this is the moment you've been waiting for to actually apply this video, okay? Before you write an ad, don't just think, okay, what should I say? Think, where is the customer mentally right now? Where do I need them to actually go before they take the action? So actually map out their action thresholds. Right now, they may be over here, okay? This is 1, this is 2, this is number 3. This is their trust in you. This is their certainty in the mechanism. This is their pain/value. Where are they right now? How much pain are they currently in? Are they in maybe a 4 out of 10 pain, and you need to actually make them feel a little bit more pain before you actually get them to act? Maybe they need an 8 out of pain threshold. And then how much certainty do they actually have in your product right now? If you're creating a top of the funnel ad, it's probably not going to be that much unless you actually have a product that is very easily understood, but then again, they might not even know your product. So this is usually quite low. And the trust in the company, if it's a top of the funnel ad, it is going to be abysmal. It's going to be very low trust. So this is the current, right? And then let me just change the color right now. This is where you want them to be. This is super important to map out. If you actually map out where you want them to be as well, this actually turns writing ads literally into a science, because then all you have to do is sort of crank up the thresholds, and that is all it really takes for them to buy. So where do they actually need to be to buy? This person over here might need to be an 8 out of 10 pain to actually buy. Certainty, it might be a very highly sophisticated market. They need like a 7 out of 10 certainty to actually buy. Trust in the company, because they're in so much pain, they need certainty to buy. They might need like a 5 out of 10 trust in the company to actually go ahead and spend money. This also increases when they spend a lot of money. Like if someone's spending like $1,000 with you, they might need like an 8 out of 10 trust. Like they need to actually trust that this is going to work for them, right? And once you actually map that out, then like I just said, map out their current state, right? How much pain are they currently in? How aware are they of the problem? How badly do they want the outcome? Is the problem actively in their mind, or do we need to actually activate it? Certainty threshold, do they actually believe this kind of product already works? Have they tried similar products before? Are they skeptical? Do they need proof? Do they need a mechanism? This is, by the way, something you can actually go and see one of Grunz's most popular ads, and it's like Ozempique's best friend. They're actually leveraging Ozempique, which is a familiar, useful mechanism, to actually increase the certainty with their mechanism, right? And then do they actually know us? Have they heard of us before? Do they trust brands like ours? Are they worried about being scammed? Do they need reviews, UGC, founder content, or guarantees, right? This is where you start, not with like just fucking start writing the ad. Actually start with the thresholds in mind, and then map where they actually need to be to take the action. So like I just said over here, but I'll just quickly go through it again. The problem matters now, right? For example, before someone buys, they may need to believe the problem matters now. The outcome is worth the cost. The product can actually work. The product is different from what they've tried before. This brand is trustworthy. The offer is worth taking, the risk is low enough, buying now actually makes sense. This is basically where you want them to take them, and this is what a lot of people mean when they say you have to, build bridges to sell or something. Like this is their current scenario, this is where they actually make the purchase, and this is the bridge you need to actually build. And then you basically map how you actually will move them there. What do I need to show them? What do I need to say to them? What do I need to prove to them or explain to them to actually move them across each threshold? If the value is too low, you may need to show a stronger pain point, a more emotional problem, a clearer dream outcome, a sharper cost of inaction, and a more compelling offer. This is why sometimes I see a lot of ads working that literally target the relative of someone, right? Like literally parents buying for their kids, husbands buying for their wives, wives buying for their husbands. People tend to care about other people more than they care about themselves. So sometimes you can literally even make them feel like, okay, they are the reason right now that their husband isn't actually in the best condition, or they are the reason, this is actually even stronger desire, they are the reason right now that their wife isn't actually in the best condition right now and her health isn't the highest. If you can make them feel, you don't want to blame them, but you want to make them come to the conclusion themselves that, okay, it might be my fault. I actually know the solution and I'm not giving them the solution. And then if certainty is too low, you may need proof, demonstrations, mechanism explanation, unique mechanism of problem and of solution is very important. Before and after, results from people like them, logic on why this actually works differently. This is extremely important when you're like stage 4 and 5 sophistication. And if you want to watch a video on how to actually determine where you are and the best move, you can go find a video on my YouTube channel. Let me see if I can actually pull it up for you right now, because it is quite important and I would rather you go through that video and actually understand positioning. This one over here, this supplement brand scaled to $72 million a year with 8 ads. This is a video on sophistication. It is amazing, like you'll actually learn a lot from it. And then step 4 is actually build the funnel around the threshold journey. So stop actually thinking from the perspective of ads or add to landing page or add to PDP or add to pre-lander, then a PDP, like all that stuff. Stop thinking from the perspective of, I want to run this funnel, and rather say, okay, I want to complete this mental journey, and then actually go through what you need to actually complete in that mental journey and then build the funnel around that. Don't build the mental journey around your funnel, build the funnel around the mental journey, all right? This is where the funnel structure comes in. Instead of copying random frameworks, build the structure around the thresholds that the customer actually needs to cross. If the market is unaware, you might need to get their attention, activate the problem, pain amplification, solution introduction, mechanism, proof, offer, trust, CTA. This is, by the way, just a framework that is just very random. Don't just copy this because your market is unaware. You have to actually map this out yourself. You have to do some thinking, okay? A good example of this could be just looking at unaware ads that work really, really well, and then you can actually just go ahead and start to actually break down their framework and then actually use the framework. That's, by the way, how you actually go ahead and take a winning ad from another brand and actually make it a winning ad for you when you understand why it actually worked and you don't actually rip them. Ripping them is fucking bullshit. Don't do that. If the market already wants the outcome, but they're skeptical, you might need to get their attention and just relatably just tell them like, yeah, I was skeptical about this too. And then the mechanism, proof, comparison, you get the point, okay? The real question before writing every ad or landing page is essentially where they right now, where they actually need to be to take the action that I want them to take. Sometimes if you're writing an ad, all you need them to do is literally just click. So get them to click. Right, but mapping out all this stuff before is really helpful because then you can just start creating like 2 to 3 minute long ads that essentially just sell everyone and they click straight to PDP and they actually buy. Okay, that is sometimes the most simple way to do it, like add to product page, add to product page. That is why some brands scale with it. That's why also some brands don't scale with it because they don't understand this level of thinking. And then this is how you stop writing randomly. This is how you actually start thinking methodically. And once you start actually writing your ads like this, your ads and funnels become much easier to actually build because you're not just writing random shit on the page. You're actually moving the customer from their current mental state to the point where taking action actually feels obvious. Now, if you are a health and wellness e-commerce brand doing like 6 figures a month and you're struggling to scale to 7 figures a month without going unprofitable and you just can't seem to do it, like you've tried a bunch of shit, you've tried product seeding, you've tried all this shit, but nothing seemed to be working, then you can actually go and click the first link in the description. You don't have to click it, right? This video is free to watch and you could probably even use all my free content to scale your brand. But if you are really struggling, you can click that link. It's just a video of me going through how we can actually help you if we can. And it's not really a course. It's not really a webinar or anything like that. Simple video going through how we can actually help you. And yeah, then full transparency, by the way, it is designed to actually get you to book a call. And then on that call, we're going to sell you something. But that's just full transparency, right? You don't have to click that link. I don't really care if you do or not. And if you like the video, click the like button. If you have any comments, suggestions, opinions, you want to tell me to piss off or something, then comment it down below. I'll definitely go back to you. And yeah, chances are we're never going to see each other again. So if you do want to watch any of my future videos and gain more value, then you should probably subscribe. But anyway, I'll speak to you soon.